Hey, welcome back to another episode of Say You Look Tired. I'm Martin.
And I'm Dan.
And yeah, here for another episode.
And we're back.
It's mad, isn't it? It's mad how quick time flies. Like what most will be to about the first or second week.
Back in the trenches.
And I thought that's what we could kind of talk about this week as well. They're all like, I've got to start here. I always think the stats are dead useful for it because it tells you a lot about teachers and how they feel and stuff like that. And I thought this one was interesting because it kind of works on both ways. So 54%, so just over half of education staff say poor workload management is one of the biggest drivers of stress. Now, to me, like I thought we could talk about a little bit, but I think a lot of that poor work management will probably be from external factors of people asking to do stuff last minute, everything coming up. But some of that can be our own control as well, like how we put in boundaries, how we set ourselves up. And with it being the start of a school year, I thought it would be good for us, if you want, to talk about how you can make sure that that poor work management doesn't creep into your own life, stops that stress. Like, think how many teachers are out there and half of them are feeling stressed and burnt out from it. Probably a lot of teachers, they're only in the second week back and are feeling burnt out already, feeling like they haven't had a holiday. Like, so to you, what are the biggest things you've got for like managing that stress?
When you were saying there about, it could be like a second week, third week back. And do you know when you start off with good intentions, you've got your brand new Tupperware, you've got your bag, you've got everything sorted and you think this is great. And it is the external pressures of it and the timetable setting in. Yeah. And you think you've got it under wraps. You start off well and then that's whenever you can fall off. For me, it's trying to be really strict with myself. Yeah. And I, was a member of SLT. So I was trying to set a good example. But it's when I let myself off the hook, that's whenever I feel that I start to, the wheels fall off the wagon. And for me, it's just trying to be organized and planned. Yeah. Like sometimes it is a bit of an ache to be like, right, let's plan out my week. You've got your timetable, but that's your school plan. But then it's planning out yourself. Yeah. And sometimes if you are trying to look at everything you have to do in one go, that can make you feel really tired. And I'm still guilty about that, for doing that loads of times. But for me, it's trying to see, what do I need to do this week and just chip away at that instead of thinking 3 weeks from now there's going to be a lesson observation coming up, or you're trying to get everything sorted for your classroom, the work's starting to kick in, the marking's starting to happen. Just make it manageable and just chip away at it. Because I always think, if you always look at, what's that quote? If you always look at the top of the mountain, you're never going to get there. Just try and put one foot in front of the other. Yeah, for me, that's what my biggest one has been over the last few years anyway, especially before I left full-time, is just doing what I can that week. Plan it out and leave gaps, leave white space so that when things do crop up, or when tasks take longer, or days happen when you're tired, you can still move things around. And one of my good friends, he had this thing where he had in his diary a Post-it note of one big job he wanted to do during the week, but if he didn't get it done, he just takes it off and moves it to a different page or next week. And I was like, that is so good, because when you've written it in and you have to do it. You have to do it, or your list is way too long. Get rid of I have my waiting list. Loads of things on there, and then take them off it to go into the can do.
I think I've never heard that before. I think that's a good one, like moving the Post-it note. But yeah, I think the biggest one you said there, like, I remember seeing a quote online which said, teaching is the only job where good is better than perfect. Because it's that idea, isn't it? Of like, if you can just get, it's good, it's fine. Like, you're not going to burn out. You're not going to be stressed. If you try and make the perfect lesson plan, if you try and make the perfect curriculum, like your topic, if you try and make the perfect displays, which we were talking about before, teachers, it isn't part of the job. Like,
say it's that nice and light for everybody.
But all these things, like, if you try that, you're going to burn yourself out, and you're not going to be part of like the classroom where the kids are in. You're going to be this burnt out mess who sits in the corner and just thinks, God, let's get this day over with, which is the whole opposite of why everyone's become teachers. And to me, that's a big one. Like, you have to focus on yourself. Like, them external factors are going to happen, but it's how you respond to them. And you can't respond to them unless you're in a good state. So you have to be disciplined with yourself. And I think everyone gets discipline wrong. I think they see discipline as like, you've always got to be super strict. You've always got to be this. Now, discipline's about being flexible, but it's about being disciplined at certain times. So if you want to make sure that you're not snacking the biscuits all the time, well, you probably have to have a decent breakfast.
Yeah.
Because teaching isn't like a normal job. Some people can say, oh, I'm not that hungry. Like, I'm never hungry in the morning. I eat about 10 at my desk. Okay, teachers can't do that. Like, from 9 till mine was 11. Like, if I haven't ate by 9, I can't eat till 11. And if I got hungry at 9:30, 10, by 11, I'd be super hungry, where whatever thing I'd made wasn't enough. I needed quick, fast sugars to feel normal again. So I'd nail the biscuits, the cakes.
Skinny whips.
Yeah, whatever. And they'd all come through. So you have to eat beforehand. Now, if you are not a morning person and it's a bit of a rush, well, you need to sit down over a weekend and think, what's an easy breakfast to make, or what's something I can batch cook, like overnight oats, baked oats, have cereal, have omelette or eggs, which are really quick to make. Do you know, have something where it's set and ready and you don't have to think. That's not discipline in the moment. That's discipline on the Sunday when you plan it. Same with your lunches. You batch cook all your lunches, don't you?
I do. I love it. When I first started doing it on a Sunday, it took me a long time because I was trying to like figure out what to do, and sometimes we make things difficult for ourselves.
Yeah.
Keep it simple. So, you know, on a Sunday, I would start it at like 12 o'clock and it's done by 2 at the latest. And that includes dishes. So, you know, I have my lunches prepared, like chicken and veg, that sort of thing. But for veg-wise, I don't cook it. I just take out a bag of frozen stuff. You know, it's in the bag, so then it's still quite fresh.
I think that's the best with fruit and quite a lot of veg. With all veg and quite a lot of fruit. I get loads of frozen. I get some fresh fruit, which I chop up and put in containers for the week, and just so I've got nice loads of fruit salads. But I can't remember the last time I bought veg that wasn't frozen, because you just have the bits you want then. Yeah. There's nothing more depressing, is there, than getting to the Saturday and having to bin all the fruit and veg that you bought and said, I'm going to have all this.
That makes you feel worse, I think. And, you know, so batch cook, get it ready. And you're talking about overnight oats and stuff there. Do you know when you plan all that out, it takes off that mental thought of having to do it? Do you know whenever you get home from work and you're like, what am I going to cook today? Or you've already got it planned out, get it set in stone so that it's there. And then when you are at work, you know, you've got something to look forward to at lunchtime. Or if you've got, I had like Greek yogurt and stuff that I'd mix it with oats and things. And if I didn't have time to eat it in the morning when I was at home, then I would bring it with me and I could eat it whilst I'm doing bits at work. Not when the children are there. Though sometimes I would have it behind the laptop. You know, you put the laptop screen up to hide the shame. And I'd nip behind.
Dan, I was in year 5. You can't get away with that.
And the children would come and go, what are you doing? I was like, absolutely nothing. And then because I would always overdo like the oats and protein powder, it's like cement. And I'm like, oh my God. But yeah, we had it there. I had that ready, which meant that when it got to like, we didn't get a break in the morning. Yeah. So I went all the way through to lunchtime. And if I hadn't eaten anything, by the time I got there, goodness knows what's happened in the classroom in the morning. I would be starving. And if I didn't eat anything, like you say, that's whenever you go into the staff room, it's someone's birthday and there's treats. And then all of a sudden, I'm in there.
And I would say that with all of it, like when it comes to snacking, no one really snacks because they absolutely love that thing. You might have stuff that you like and you'll have it now and again, but most snacking is, I'm really hungry. I'm really hungry because maybe you skip breakfast, or maybe you've tried to eat healthy and for some reason you eating healthy is a chicken salad, which negates what? It's 120 calories for the chicken breast, 20 calories for the salad if you're lucky. Less in that than most chocolate bars. Like, if you ate a chocolate bar for your lunch, you're going to be starving 10 minutes later.
Especially the size of the chocolate bars these days. 2 bites and it's gone.
Well, funny enough, ages ago I did a video on chocolate bars, and I'd always done it that they were like 200 calories because they were. And I went to the supermarket to like show how many chocolate bars you'd have to eat to gain a pound of fat. And I couldn't find chocolate bars in the multi-packs that were over like 150 calories because they were smaller. So they always used to be 200 calories. Now most chocolate bars are about 150. Not through health-wise, but just literally because they've shrunk them.
They're lying to us out there.
Shrinkflation, it's called, isn't it?
Yes.
Where you get it, and it's the same price, but it's a hell of a lot smaller.
Like boxes of glue sticks from one. Oh, it's the same price, and you get 5 this time.
Is that changed now? Is it?
Well, I think the last time I did an order, by the way, which Martin told me today, is something that you don't have to do.
That was on a different podcast, the Teach Sleep Repeat one. I saw their post I was talking to you about. Wasn't it like 23 things teachers don't have to do? Both of us have done them all.
Yes, as Martin was reading them out, I was like, yes. And we're just talking about shrinkflation. I hated doing the Espo order because I would forget something and it's my fault.
Yeah.
But I'm ordering a thing of glue sticks and there was like 30 in it, but it costs such a large amount of money. So, and then I got told off for buying brand. But if you don't buy brand glue sticks,
it doesn't work. I don't know how glue sticks that aren't Pritt stick are still going. Well, do because schools buy them because they're cheaper. But I've never had one where I've stuck stuff with it and it hasn't like fell off immediately. The Pritt stick is expensive, but I don't see the point in buying any other ones because they don't work. It's not even that they don't last; like they just don't work. The amount of times I've had kids stick stuff in, and you can see it like by the time you're marking it later, it's peeling off.
Oh goodness me! But yeah, back to I remember like 2 weeks in, 3 weeks in. This is another thing I think. About 3 weeks in, I remember a couple years ago, making myself feel really guilty that I didn't enjoy more of my summer. Yeah. And then you've got your 3 weeks in and you think, I've got another 3 weeks to go to get to half term. And you shouldn't really be, but then you feel guilty thinking about that because you've only been back 3 weeks and you should be full of energy. Come on, let's go. And I think for me, I found it really hard to switch off whenever I was burnt out.
Yeah.
Because you feel like, because it's the start of the term, you should be on, let's go, let's get things started. And then that's whenever you're booking in things like your lesson observation, your walks, appraisals get done like at this time of the year. So you're being setting new targets to start, going towards. And if you're a subject lead, you need to hit the ground running with seeing your subject. Because I don't know about you, but I remember my first subject I was given was ICT. I didn't know anything.
I got computer and ICT. Well, my first one was maths.
Okay.
But I was I don't know how you'd call it, like basically like a token head of maths because the head wanted to do maths. So he gave me maths and then I didn't do anything for maths. The only thing I used to do was observe the deputy head maths with him, which would be, I'd sit next to the head, the deputy would do the lesson, and then at the end he'd say, Mom, what do you think of the lesson? And I go, yeah, it was good. And he'd go, okay. Tick, there we go. That's done.
I think for mine, when I led ICT, I don't actually remember leading the subject. We bought a scheme in. I went, there we go. Yeah, I bet everyone's in little packets together and printed out.
We did Rising Stars. Have you ever done the Rising?
That's what ours was, I think. It's Purple Mash, actually.
It's the most. It might be changed now, but like what, 7-8 years ago when we got it in, the most complicated like lesson plans ever. To the point of I took over computing from someone else when I got given like a real.
Oh yeah, it's called computing now.
Yeah.
ICT.
Well, I don't know whether it is. It was a bit like, do you remember when maths got changed to numeracy and now it's maths again?
Yeah.
And English was literacy.
It's called mathematics in EYFS. Yeah.
But it got changed into numeracy and literacy. And then it got changed back, but without a fanfare, didn't it?
Yeah.
So now it's maths and English again. But you don't, but I remember at the time, like you couldn't call it maths. It had to be numeracy. And you couldn't call it English. It had to be literacy. And now it's when I'll say...
It's not one of them silly things, isn't it?
Well, it's because we would have been about the same, like, starting. But I remember when I started, like, it was a big thing. Like, you can't call it maths anymore. So I'll still call it numeracy. And some people will be like, what?
What's that mean?
I'll be like, oh, maths. But yeah, computing, ICT, whichever one it is now.
Yeah, so it's the subject lead. So I was back in my day, whenever I first started taking on the subject, it wasn't like it is now. Whereas it's all about accountability. Do you know what your subject looks like across the school?
You kind of had to order the scheme, didn't you, to start?
Yeah. There we go. There's the scheme. And then we didn't even have to order it. Off you go, get going with it. Whereas now, because there's such that level of accountability, you're already feeling that on top of being a class teacher, which also means if you organize your week and plan it, like I've spoke before about my weekly can-do, where I'll plan out my week and I'll put 2 or 3 big tasks in there. But if I know they're going to take a lot of energy, then I'll maybe just have one or, 2. And then because I had it there, I remember one of my friends said, well, Dan, when you go back, set your stall out to say, right, this is what I'm trying. And it's to help me be plan, but also keep it manageable. So I still want to be in the class teaching the children. And then, I don't want to be there and think, hey, I can't wait for the day to end so I can get on with doing my work. And then there is that thing I said about 10 minutes ago about knowing when to cut off. Because it's the start of the year and you feel like you have to have all that energy, all you're going to do is just reduce the energy from the next day if you don't know when you're going to cut it off.
Yeah.
And I remember one day sitting on my sofa at 8 o'clock and I felt guilty. I was like, oh, I've got loads to do. I should be doing it.
Well, you used to go till, what was it, 2 a.m.?
Yeah, roll into bed in my
your clothes. Get up. Did you get changed the next day or did you
Yes. Whatever was able to fit me out of the wardrobe. No, I got up and rolled into the shower then. Everything's rolling. Proud Mary, rolling into the river. Went into the shower, had a shower, and then obviously put on new clothes. None of it ironed, probably.
Yeah.
But that was no way to live.
But do you know what, though? That's like, I think it's that thing, isn't it, of people will say like, oh, I don't have time to put these boundaries in. I don't have time to cook my food. I don't have time to prep. I don't have time to do this. But like, you were literally working so much that you were crashing into bed, rolling out to go get a shower, getting in the car, like driving to Mackey's, getting a Mackey's.
And that is all true. He's not taking a pay.
Living off Red Bull, everything like that. Feeling like just awful.
Mm-hmm.
You put these boundaries in place where quite a lot of the time, it's just restructuring your energy. So meal prepping, planning your food, thinking about your food a little bit. And yet, it probably did feel like a diet because you're dropping those calories. But it doesn't feel like a diet, does it? Because when you take that time to think about your food, you end up eating nicer food. Like if you compare what you used to have for your lunches compared to like what you have now, if you were just to be given both of them and it was like, right, calories don't matter, which one do you want? I would probably say you would lean to what you're having now anyway, because it's nicer food. Like if you're cooking chicken with pasta and veg and a nice sauce that you enjoy and it's filling you up, that is going to be nicer than like a Greg's pasty.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
It was Greg's as well, or like a sandwich from Chernobyl. It looked like something had been blown up. And I was like, what is this? I was like, it was pathetic. And oh my God. And even though I would eat the sandwich, I'd still be hungry anyway.
Yeah.
But beside it, I had a Boost bar. Remember? Well,
but you'd still be hungry after that.
Oh, I was so hungry. And
the way, just to jump in, I know with that, and it's not hate on sugar or anything like that. I personally don't believe in all that. Like Joe Wicks talks about it, addicted to sugar. Me personally, I think he's a bit of a prick for talking about sugar is. Yeah, I use prick because I think we can get away with that.
We can get away with that.
Well, I think he's a bit of a prick for talking about it. Like, I'm addicted to sugar. No, you're not. If you're addicted to sugar, you'd be doing lines of it. You wouldn't be. Do you know what he said his slip up was?
What?
He had some fruit. He had a couple of chocolate bars as well, but his gateway into it was he had some fruit. And the sugars in the fruit got his addiction back. And then I can't remember what he said. It was something like Jaffa Cakes or something. And I thought, what a prick. Like, there's people out there with proper addictions.
Yeah.
And he's trying to blag that he's got addiction to sugar, which is nonsense.
Yeah.
And everything shows that you can't be. There are people who are addicted to food, and that is a real addiction. There is no one that is addicted to sugar. You might think, oh, I'm addicted to sugar. You're not. You're stressed out or burnt out, and sugar gives you a little boost. The same way caffeine gives you a little boost. Do you know, there's those sides. But yeah, I was going to say then, like, when you have that Boost bar, the sugar in it is going to give you a bit of a sugar rush.
Until about 2:30.
Well, that's it. So during the day, while the kids are in, you're going to crash and you're going to feel extremely tired. And I don't know whether, do you notice it more now? I do. So when I was always eating it, I would have the same crashes, like highs and crashes.
Yeah.
Because you're always having it. Like you're always having the chocolate for your lunch and stuff like that. You don't notice. But when you do it now and again, it really hits me. Yeah. Like where I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I used to do this all the time. Like I can't think.
Yeah, I had a coffee earlier and I'd already had one, I'd forgotten. And the old me would have, like we say, 2 coffees before I left the house, a little Red Bull, maybe. No, sorry, another coffee on the way to work from Mackey's and a Red Bull during the morning. How am I still here? But I don't do that now at all. I'd have one in the morning and maybe one at 12, and that is it. Whereas I had already had one, and then I had one when we first got here. And remember, I was sitting opposite you, and I just felt the coffee just kick in. And I was like, oh my goodness me. But that just led to just being exhausted all the time because I wasn't planned. I didn't plan out my week. I didn't know what I was doing. I went into that week clueless. And the only thing that was planned was my timetable. And that timetable was going to happen whether I liked it or not. And another thing, a top tip for everybody, and I used to find it really hard to do this, is delegation. I used to find it really hard to delegate things because I wanted to do it all because I thought...
And you tell yourself, don't you? It's easier for me to do this than to let other people do it for me because it's so much easier. It'll save me so much time.
The time explaining it. And then if you explain it and it's maybe not done how you think, then
you've got to do it again.
You've got to do it again. And then if you're a leader of something... Like I was the year group lead, EYFS lead. I always felt if something wasn't done maybe right, through no fault of anybody else, then it looked bad on me. Or if I had to redo it again, that's my time. But then when you give out people the chance, people need to learn how to do things. And then that means that people feel part of a team. And like when you are delegating, because I wasn't planned, sometimes back in the day I would delegate something that probably didn't need doing. Just so that someone's like, Dan, do you have any jobs? Like, can you do this? Can you do that? Whereas when I got organized, I was able to look at my plan and go, right, I need this by Wednesday. And Kerry, hey, Kerry, if you're listening, she used to get stuff done very quick, which meant that we were working like clockwork. And I remember one Friday we left and everything was ready for the next week. And I gave her a high five out the door and I was like, come on, you, let's go. I went out and I remember going into that weekend thinking, if this could happen every single week, which it didn't because there's no such thing as perfection. The weeks that it did work, we felt great. And because I was delegating, everyone felt part of the team then.
It's that thing though, isn't it? Because I remember so my first year of teaching, there was like a TA split between the 2 year groups. So it was 1 form entry, 2 year groups. But I never really used to plan stuff for her because there wasn't like a set timetable with it. She'd just kind of go between the two. So you couldn't like have something set that she had to do because she might not be in there. So I was used to do everything. And I remember the next year when I had a full-time TA, I remember struggling with it for the first term because I wasn't in that habit of delegating. So she'd be like, what do you want me to do? And I, like you said, I'd be like, do you want to sit with them? Where like after the first term, I was like, oh, okay. Like, I need to do this. That's something as well. They don't really teach you in teacher training.
No.
They don't teach you any. I remember like yours was different. You did a PGC. I did a 4-year course, which is still mad. But like, they just used to, I remember us all complaining between ourselves of like, they'd give us an essay title. And it was kind of like a reworded essay title from the year before. So in year 2, we did an essay. And then we kind of did the same essay with a different title in year 3 and in year 4. They didn't really teach us much behavior strategy. They didn't really teach us much about delegation. They didn't teach us much about the role of a teacher. They didn't teach us about like the things you're meant to do as a teacher and the things you're not.
Were you taught to do a display? That's what we had to do. Oh my goodness. So we had that as well. We had this day on PGCE called Water Day or something. So and we all had to make a display.
Think about that now, right? We were both taught at uni how to make displays. And we were just saying, there's a government policy which says teachers don't do the displays.
We were taught to do it. We were behavior management. When you were saying that, I was like, actually, I had no training on, we had maybe one.
It was like
a 1 hour talk.
It was like
one day.
Go along, like just
follow the behavior policy of your school.
Figure it out as you're going along.
Move the children's name down the ladder of shame. That's what that is. The ladder. Move your name down to red right now.
What about the mad one of like let the children regulate their feelings by when they come in the morning and they pick,
oh god,
like the only kids that are picking sad aren't really sad. They just want some attention. And I don't say that as like nastily. What I mean is, if you had something truly going on in your life, would you be going to the board and going, I'm really sad? Because you would know people would go, what's up?
I had one of those displays, right? And you just reminded me, I told off my class one day, they all come in and I had one self-register they had to do, but they had to move the name to say they were here. And then another one to go and say how they were feeling that day. And I went, oh, yes, well done, everyone's here. And then I turned around and went, I've spent ages laminating that. And not one of you put your names on that board. Go and do it now. And who's sad? And whereas I changed it, so we would always say, if you're feeling this way today, great, blah, blah, blah. But if you are feeling sad, you know that we're here for you. But again, that's just something, I wouldn't do that as an adult.
Yeah, imagine it in the staff meeting. Imagine if you went into the staff meeting and it was like, right, what are you feeling?
Do you know those buttons that you'd see if you walk through airport security or you have to tap the button? A graph comes up. Who's sad? The head. I don't think a head teacher would like that. Who's sad in my meeting? But yeah, delegate. It was the 3 Ds: do, delegate, delete.
Yeah.
And start that from now and just get into practice with it, because it's all right adopting these things that we've been saying,
and
like plan your week out.
Fourth one, delay.
Oh, four.
So
do, delegate, delete, delay.
Because you can always, some stuff you will have to do, but you don't have to do it right now. And I think that's a catch in teaching as well. There's so many jobs which have to be done, and there's so many deadlines with schools. But sometimes if you just ask, if you just go to the head or deputy and go, listen, I get we've got to do this, but this is all the stuff I have to do. Do I have to have it in by that deadline? Quite a lot of heads, if they're all right, will go, oh no, like, we've got another month on that. Like, we just want to tick that box.
My head teacher was like the last head teacher I had. I remember feeling nervous about so many things to do. And she just happened to catch me one day. She said, oh, you're not like your usual self. Come in and sit down. Went down, sat down in the office. She had a lovely sofa. And and I remember saying to her, you know what, I'm a bit stressed and I'm trying to do this. Well, I'll give you some time if you want it. Well, what do you want? She's like, I'd rather you came and asked for these things rather than sit and worry. I was like, I didn't know you could ask for this. But we got given like a day every term to like a planning day to get stuff sorted. I loved that. Yeah. We did a map for the next term, which meant that I knew what stuff needed to be sorted and done, which helped with the do, delegate. And I forgot about the delay one. Things can wait.
Things can wait. Funny enough, you just talking about heads officers. It always makes me laugh. There was a school I went into on supply, and I went in there like when I first did supply, when I come out of uni. And then when I kind of transitioned to like what I do now, I did a bit of supply at the beginning, and I went in that first time and there was a head there. And there was definitely off vibes about the school. So every member of staff had to put their phone in a locker before going into the school because they didn't trust them to have their phones out around the children.
Oh.
Which is weird. I think it's weird. I think if you are employing someone and you've done a CRB check on them and you've done all that, it is weird to say,
we still don't trust you.
Like, put your phone in a locker. If you wanted to check your phone, you had to go to this room, open your locker. It was in the secretary's office, and you had to go in, you had to check your phone, put it back in. You could not have your phone out. And I was supplying, even supply teachers, like everyone had to put their phones in lockers, which I was like, this is weird. But the head had an office which was bigger than a classroom, right? And it had a giant boardroom table in it. And she had like basically like a big desk with like a throne. It wasn't far this year off a throne, and it was mad. And I remember walking past and thinking, this is mad. Like, this is mad. And I think it shows the difference between different heads, because I went back 10 years later and there was over time, there's a different head there. The head was show me around, like, because I was doing a couple of days supply there, and he said, oh, I'll show you around. And he was showing me around, and we got by his office. And as well as like it being this big thing, it had full glass so that you could always look out at people there. And he said, that's my office. And then went, I didn't do the design, and I think it's a bit weird. Like, he made the point of like, this wasn't me, because even
it's not my fault.
But yeah, it was like an office bigger than a classroom with a giant boardroom desk in. Other side was like full of like everything, and I just remember thinking like, that's madness.
I bet there was a classroom down the corridor with all those desks in, 30 chairs, and the teacher can't get around the room without you sticking themselves to the wall or climbing on the roof.
Oh, it was
Spider-Man.
It was a proper one, and you just remind me of it before when you were saying about it, but it is that thing, isn't it? It's just like, you can delay stuff. Some stuff, and it's probably not the best thing to say, some stuff you can kind of get onto, like, even though schools say you got to do it, no one ever asks for it, never one ever checks it. And I would say, if no one's checking for it and asking for it, just check government, like Offsted things to see. So like planning folders, where they always say it's got to be uploaded, but
into the
anyone
shared
checks.
drive, and I never did.
But but as well, I would look at that from this point of view. So if no one is ever checking it, if they've said the policy is we have to put our planning in there, but no one is ever checking it, and Offsted can't ask to see your planning, just don't do it. Like what's the worst you're going to get told? You should start doing it. Oh, okay, sorry,
Get
I forgot.
that saved in there now.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, I forgot. Like,
shared drives are messy anyway. You go into any school and you can't find. I love the word chaos, but when you go into and there's like folders from like 2010, 2012, and I'm like, who's going to be in there? But there's always like random saved folders, Debbie's folder, and then there's like random stuff. It's always chaos. Nothing's saved in the right area, and then like we'll be shown in a staff meeting where to save things. I'm like, oh yeah.
But I love all the stuff like that, and I love things like all the rules you find out about Offsted the day before Offsted come in. So I found them out on the first Offsted, and it still make me laugh to this day. These were like, I remember our SLT coming round, and like I was a brand new NQT, and they were proper like, these are the things you need to know. And the two things that I learned was, 3 things. They can't ask to see your planning. So if they try, just say you're not allowed to see it. They are never allowed in your teacher cupboard. So anything you don't want to see, stick in your teacher cupboard. And they're never allowed in the staff room. So they said, if anything's too big for your cupboard, stick it in the staff room.
Oh my goodness. Was your cupboard tidy?
It was and it wasn't. So it was always tidy. But like all cupboards, like there was stuff from the teachers from before. It wasn't empty to begin with. So there'd probably be half a cupboard that was tidy and organised of the stuff I needed. And then there was another half of the cupboard that was tidy. I'd say like, it's not going to fall. It's not messy. It's on the side. But it wasn't organised because it was just all junk. And I wasn't cleaning it because it wasn't mine.
Mine was always a mess until like, my TAs,
I never used it.
They were like always good at organising things. So Dan, stay out of your cupboard. Stay out of your own cupboard because you'll mess it up. They're like, what do you need? I'm like, I need so-and-so. And then they were very good at like decluttering it for me.
Yeah.
So you've not used this all year. We're going to get rid of it. So we're going to put it in
That's part of it though, isn't it? You've kind of delegated without thinking. That's been delegated then where they're in charge of that. And I think that's the biggest one. If you are really struggling with it all, you've got to delegate, you've got to delay stuff, you've got to get rid of stuff. And there's some stuff which you have to do, and it's just prioritizing it, and it's putting you first. As you said, the one thing that's constant is your school plan. You're going to have your school meetings. They're always going to run over, so plan for it. You're going to have meetings with other teachers or like government people coming in, or you're going to have parents coming in. It's going to be draining. Even now, if I when someone signs up with me, I'll have a setup call with them. It's only about half an hour. I can't do anything for an hour after it because I've give so much during it. So now I know not to have anything after it. It's that kind of planning with it. And I think it's the same in teaching. Teachers will plan like, okay, I've got that out for that. Then I'll do this. Then I'll do that. Then I'll do this. Then I'll do that. No, like sometimes it's the emotional drain. Be realistic with your week.
Yeah. Be realistic. Absolutely.
Plan it out. Have vital stuff to do and have stuff that can always be pushed back.
Post-it note, move it.
Yeah. Like, yes, you will need to go through, if you're a curriculum lead, you will need to go through your curriculum. You do not need to do it like that first week.
Yeah.
And you don't need to keep going back to it. And you don't need to do like all the things that come with it. Instead, it's just about planning that in advance. Give yourself easy days if you can. If you're in charge of your own, so I was one form, I could plan when I did my teaching. Wednesdays, I would have PPA in the morning and I would have computing in the afternoon. And I would just sail out that door on a Wednesday. I had no marking. I had no, and I was refreshed for the next 2 days. Same with it all. Like plan as much as you can. Plan for yourself. Do your food prep. Think about if you want to get into fitness and training, or you are now, think about when you can do it.
Yeah.
If you only want to train 2 or 3 days a week, perfect. But me, I'd always struggle to train on a Monday because it'd be quite an intense day. And then we'd have a staff meeting, which would always run over. And it'd be 5:30. That meant I got stuck in the traffic. It's normally a half an hour drive back. That'd be an hour to an hour and a half. I'm not getting in till 6:30 or 7. I'm tired. I'm drained. It's a long day. Still got to walk the dog and that. I'm not getting the gym till 8. I'm not going. So I started saying, I don't go to the gym on a Monday. I planned it round it. And I think that's the same with everything.
Make it work for you.
You got to make it work. You got to plan it. You got to have it. And you've got to stick to it and just have those boundaries. Be disciplined in short bursts. Be disciplined on a Sunday morning. Plan your food and prep it. Be disciplined in certain ones to say stuff like, can I check my diary, rather than saying yes to everything. And put yourself first. Because you said, like, the school diary is always going to be there.
Yeah.
The plans, the lessons, the meetings, they're all going to be there. They're all going to take your time. And I would say, if you put schoolwork first, if you opened up your full week and said, what hours do you need? School would say, all of them. And do you need that time when you're sleeping?
Yeah, it actually would. And we'd give it over. And like, I was such a people pleaser back in the day. But yes, I'll do that. Yes, I'll do all of that. And like, we all get a little bit of satisfaction from ticking things off on a list. But like you say, put stuff in there for you. Your life matters at the same time.
Yeah.
And if it's just all schoolwork, then where are you in that? And then that's when you can quickly burn out.
Yeah. No. I think it's probably a good place for us to wrap this one up.
Delegate, delete, delay.
Yeah. Put those boundaries in and you'll be laughing. But yeah, that's all from us. Make sure, drop us 5 stars. Drop a comment. We're getting a few now.
Yeah, comments on Spotify.
Spotify area. Yeah. We need to reply to them.
Yes, we will. Okay. I will drop it in. I'll reply.
But yeah, no, thanks for all of them so far. We're growing up there.
We are.
And we'll keep it going. So see you in a bit, guys.
Bye.
Bye.